These lectures are titled From Yao to Mao, 5,000 Years of Chinese History, Part 1.
In this lecture, I want to take a little time out from our movement through the narrative of Chinese history to consider an element that enters into China during the latter part of the Han Dynasty, and which becomes a very important part of Chinese society, Chinese culture, making contributions to philosophy, to art, but which is a relatively rare phenomenon in that it's an element, an influence that comes into China from outside. Chinese history and culture is very largely self-contained. It develops in its own setting and draws upon its own roots and elaborates itself largely in a self-contained way. But Buddhism, which is what we're going to talk about this morning, comes to China from India and becomes integrated into Chinese culture in a way that relatively few other outside ideas or practices do. Buddhism is a philosophy. Buddhism is a religion, and in China it becomes very influential in both those capacities. As a philosophy, a set of fairly specific ideas and teachings about the nature of life. As a religion, a much more expansive phenomenon involving the organization of monasteries, the practice of ceremonials and rituals very different from those of Confucianism or Taoism. To understand Buddhism, we need to trace it back to India, and so I want to spend some time in this lecture looking at the origins of Buddhism, and then we'll talk a little bit as well about how it comes to China and how it begins to take root there. The story of the second half of the Tang in the next lecture.